we're starting with, imagine that the spine is here. So actually you have two different muscles. This muscle is a trapezium shape, right? So it's called the trapezoid. It's a muscle that mostly elevates the shoulder. Do you see that, how this becomes shorter? But the lower part does the opposite. It drops it. Yeah? It also does this movement. How do we call this movement? Retraction. Retraction and protraction. Good. The other side of the muscle, called rhomboids. Have you heard about rhomboids muscle? What they do, they attach the scapula to the spine. So when you contract it, can you contract it? No, opposite. Do you see that the distance becomes shorter and now opposite? You see how large it is now and do the opposite? Retract. Good. So they take the shoulder backward. Yeah? So it's nice to have the painting because you can really see how the skin where the muscle is really becomes shorter. Okay? Opposite side? Good. So this is the pectoralis major. Pectoralis is the chest area, major because it's the bigger muscle. Any guess to what this muscle does? It attached to the humerus. Anyone can guess what is the action of this muscle?
Adduction.
Yeah.
Adduction.
Adduction. Yeah. So when you're taking the arm from here, yeah, and resist me. Oh, do you see how it's kind of becomes tight? Yeah, and it will adduct it all the way to the other side as well. Yeah, pectoralis major. In most of your client, when you're having your shoulders forward, this muscle will be shorter or longer? Shorter. Good. So you can do a nice stretch to pectoralis major to open the upper back. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Very good. Next victim. Excellent. Good. Okay. So let's start from the back. This is the scapula, and this muscle elevates the scapula. So how would we call it? Levator scapula. Levator scapula. So it attached to the neck, and once we elevate the scapula, you see that it gets shorter? Yeah? However, anyone has a mobile phone here? Yeah? Good, thank you. If you need to answer the mobile phone, you see what happened to this muscle? Thank you. Yeah? So sometimes you need to look for the reason why this muscle would be tight, or someone who would be typing a lot and getting the tension there in their shoulder. Yeah? Good. So levator scapula. If you fix this area, it would move the neck. It would do that to the neck. So it has two ends. One end, each end can do opposite things. Yeah? The next muscle is one of the more complicated muscles because you can see that it starts on the back of the neck and it attached to the front of the chest. Yeah? And what it would do, it would rotate and side bend. Yeah? Could you now in pairs, can you do it? Can you rotate and side bend? And I want you to observe it onto the other person. It's quite bundly without breaking them. Did you see? Yes. Yes, I see.
I know the
facial muscles. Good. Oh, where is the orbicularis oris? Okay. Okay. So around the eyes, there is a circular muscle. They called Orbicularis Oculi. Orbicularis Oculi, because around the mouth there is another orbicularis muscle that's called Orbicularis oris. So how do you remember between the two? Orbicularis oculi is like the eye, and oris is the mouth. Yeah? Good. And what it does, it shut the eye quite strong, or shut the mouth quite strong. The last muscle here is the strongest muscle in the body, masseter. Yeah, chewing. Yeah. So if you have client who grind their teeth, they would have a lot of tenderness here. Yeah. And what it does is really elevate the mandible.
Do
you feel it?
When your jaw dislocates, is that because of weakness in that muscle?
Usually not.
What would that
Usually
be
not.
because of?
There is a joint, and if the joint is overstretched, that would happen. There is a disc there in the joint. Yeah.
How can the joint be?
It can, if you just take it and you overstretch it.
Oh, just going too fast.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hazel? Okay. Sophie? You want to show or?
No, you can do it.
No? Okay. Right. This muscle looks like a deltoid shape. So it's called a deltoid. And it's a muscle that, what would it do? Abduct. Fantastic. Also, it would do a little bit of flexion, the front bit, and a little bit of extension, the back bit. But generally, it would abduct. Good. On the other side, the front muscle is the biceps brachii, which flex the elbow and the shoulder, and it's called also the feeding muscle. Yes, it's called the feeding muscle. It's not a joke, really, because that's the kind of movement it does. And this is the second one is the triceps that come from flexion and extend the shoulder and the elbow. Yeah. So when you do push-ups, it will be quite active then. Well done. Thank you. Linda, come around, please. Okay, great. So how is it called? The six-pack? Yeah?
Yes.
Six-pack, yes. This is, actually there are two muscles here. There are two muscles here. In the center, there is the rectus abdomini, and it attaches the lower ribs to the hip bone. And then on the side, you see there and there, this is the external abdominal oblique. And what it would help in turning the torso. Yeah? So overall, the rectus abdomini, the center, would flex. The sides would do this turn or the opposite turn. Yeah? And few more functions. When you're coughing, this muscle would also contract. Sneezing, yeah, laughing. Yeah. So, yeah, beside movement, you would use this muscle for a few other things as well. Yeah, fantastic, thank you.
I'm the last.
You're the last, okay. Oh, the arm, the forearms, great. So, erectus spinae muscle, right? Starting from the suboccipital area and goes all the way to the sacrum. What this group did here, do you see the ribs?
Yeah.
Yeah? So the ribs would be also on the other side, and this muscle attached not only to the vertebra, but also to the ribs. And it's kind of lifted all the time, and you can kind of feel it, you know, quite nicely all the way up. Yeah? Erectus spinae. We'll use it a lot in massage. Yeah? Very much needed. The glory is quite quick, isn't it? Here we have the front of the forearms, and these are the flexors. And you see that what this group did is draw it very narrow here. Any idea why they draw it very narrow here?
Because they reach the fingers, no?
It reaches the fingers, and what you have here
Tendons.
is the tendons. You have the tendons. The bulk of a muscle, they kind of stop in here, do you see? And from here is only tendons. Yeah? Same thing you have on the extensors here, and it runs all the way to the fingers, and what it does is extend the wrist and the fingers. Yeah. So flexors, extensors. Yeah. Great, fantastic. Thank you. Rightio. Anyone else? Last chance. Let's go and clean it. We have few more.
This one, because it contracts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can still that one to there. Well, that's what we're doing. See that right?
Yeah, free when you go that.
Okay. So, great work. Who was in this group? Who was in this group? Yeah, good. So give them applause. Really good work. Sternocleidomastoid. This muscle called sternocleidomastoid.